Hello everyone, that Manga Kid here to give my series review of I Hear the Sunspot Limit. This is a 3-volume installment of the I Hear the Sunspot series, put out by One Piece Books, and it's by Yuki Fumino. So the first book in the series is I Hear the Sunspot, which then spurred the sequel, I Hear the Sunspot Theory of Happiness, which then continued into the Limit series, which is what you see in front of you. So technically there are 5 volumes to this overall series at this point, and it seems like the intention of the mangaka is to create more, though I don't know how quickly that will happen. I'm assuming One Piece Books will probably license that and release it if there is more to the story in the future, but for now this is what we've got. I think I did a review of the very first volume, like the regular I Hear the Sunspot. I didn't bother doing anything with Theory of Happiness, but this 3-volume series I did want to chat about because it's been a while since I've talked about this series, and I think it deserves to be spoken about again. So we still have our main characters, Taichi and Kohei, who are... at this point, this should be said. If you've not read any of the I Hear the Sunspot previous volumes, maybe don't watch this one yet because there will probably be some spoilers in this, just because this is not the beginning of the story. This is a continuation of the first 2 volumes. So just a heads up about that. So we still have Taichi, our kind of charismatic, upbeat, hyper character. And we have Kohei, who is hard of hearing, both of whom are college-aged. Kohei is still in college, whereas Taichi is trying to figure out his future. He was in college, and now he's kind of thinking, this isn't maybe the space that I need to be in. So at this point, their relationship has progressed a little bit farther. This is a very, very, very slow burn, in the sense that, like, they don't touch for a very, very, very long time, and by the time they do, they kiss maybe once or twice. So if you're looking for like a legitimate relationship where you're seeing affection happen in a way that it manifests in a physical relationship, this is maybe not for you. But we're watching these 2 boys who clearly care very much for each other, or young men, I guess I should say, trying to navigate their lives, because Kohei obviously is very self-conscious and concerned about his lack of hearing. He sees himself as dragging Taichi down, and Limit really, really dives deeper into that. The first 2 are more about their kind of like learning about each other. They've just met, they're kind of getting to know each other, and it's a little bit happier, but still with an undertone of sadness, whereas Limit goes really deep into the kind of despair and depression of, feeling inadequate in a relationship or just a friendship even, feeling like you're a burden on another person and trying to remove yourself from a situation so that you feel like you're doing something good for a different person by removing yourself. And, this happens a lot, whether it's somebody who has a disability, or it's somebody who just feels like they're a burden on another person for whatever reason. It doesn't have to be a disability. It could be literally anything. You feel like you're burdening someone, so you go, well, they'd be better off without me. They could live a better life without me. So if I wasn't here, they wouldn't be burdened by my existence. And so... Kohei kind of takes a step back and is like, you could do so much better than me. So you should go off and live your life and not worry about the sign language anymore, or the, dealing with my depressing presence, I guess. I don't know. And we watch how this distance that's growing between these 2 characters is really affecting them. And, they're trying to find their footing for themselves, and try not to rely on each other so much that they're burdening the other person. But at the same time, that is what friends are for, is that to have somebody to lean on. And they're trying to learn that, right? And as young men especially, they're trying to find themselves in their sexuality, what they feel for each other, but they are young men, and it's tough to ask for help when you need help, and it's tough to tell somebody that you need them in your life. And for Taichi, it's very difficult for him to admit that he needs Kohei just as much as Kohei probably needs him, and they just don't want to say it to each other, and they're having a difficult time communicating. And that's what Limit really is about, and we see a lot more of the other characters as well. There's another young man, I believe he's a high school student, who has an older brother that Taichi works with, and the young man is hard of hearing, and we're watching him kind of go through a similar thing where his brother and him have kind of grown apart a little bit, and he feels like he's burdened his brother and taken away his brother's future because his older brother has spent so much time, accommodating his lack of hearing. And so the younger brother's like, well, if I act out and I stay away from my older brother, he'll have a successful future without me, and I don't have to feel guilty for, burdening him. And so, we're seeing a lot of different relationships at play, and we're seeing a lot of different, we get some other love interest rivals come in, but it's not like in the same kind of dramatic way that other series do it. This is very much a humanizing story about people who know what they want but are scared to ask for it. They know they want to be together, but they're too scared to say it out loud, and they're too scared to admit it because they're afraid that they will be rejected or that they will be hurting the other person if they voice their own needs or feelings. And I think that, it's a really, really beautiful story, and the art is pretty lovely. Like I said, there's really no explicit scenes or anything in this, so if you're looking for a nice introduction to, and there's a little crying scene, like the art is just beautiful. If you're looking for a drama with really, really interesting art and a really heartwarming, touching story, I think that this is a really good one. And Limit goes a bit farther into the kind of troubles that some of these folks, because Kohei kind of gets involved with, like, there's a sign language club at the university. Taichi is working for a company that is, promoting and teaching accessibility practices within workplaces and schools and things like that. And so we're seeing other folks with various impairments, mostly focusing on hearing impairments, but we're seeing other people and the things that they're going through. We're seeing a lot of ableism and a lot of discrimination that these people are dealing with on a daily basis. And we're seeing how that affects the individuals themselves, but also the loved ones around them. And it's a very hard-hitting kind of story that just kind of lays it out for you in a way that isn't overly dramatic or overly I don't know, it just is really, it feels very real, it feels very touching, and it feels very raw and authentic. And that's what I really like about I Hear the Sunspot, and I think that's what a lot of people like about it, is that it feels authentic and it feels very heartwarming and just really sweet. And I think that hopefully going forward, with the way that this one ends, I really, really hope that if more is written, they do progress more with their relationship. And it's not to say that there's anything wrong with being in an affectionate and loving relationship with somebody and not, really showing a lot of physical affection, but I think that, I think they're at a place now where they want to be doing that and could be moving forward in that direction, because this Limit series really does focus on them apart and them trying to figure things out for themselves, and other people around them are trying to figure things out as well. And I think that if there's a further kind of story written about these characters, that it can go deeper into their relationship, and you know, how do we move forward now? We're young adults, and we're, you know, we kind of know what path our futures are moving towards. How do we now move forward together? And that's what I'm hoping to see. I'm not the writer. I don't know what direction this is going to go in, but that's what I hope to see. If you've read any of the I Hear the Sunspot stories, I'd love to hear your thoughts on them. I just think that these covers are just stunning. I think they're so beautiful, and honestly, these are like, this one is so thick. Even like, they're all thicker than a regular volume, so you are getting a lot of content when you buy these. The first I Hear the Sunspot is kind of a standard size, but all of the other ones are much thicker than a standard size volume. So yeah, I mean, support One Piece books. They don't release a ton of manga, but when they do, this is one of the ones that I would highly recommend buying from them. But they've got a couple other titles as well, I believe. I just can't think of what they are off the top of my head right now. I don't know if I own anything else by them. I'm trying to think. I might have another title, but I can't think off the top of my head. But anyway, yeah, great story that deals with hearing impairments, sexuality, college aged angst, and growing up and finding your passion and learning trying to figure out what you want to do with your future. All of that is in here, and it's done in such an authentic, beautiful, well captured kind of way. Yeah, I think I've rambled long enough. Thanks for watching.